everyday guy, but I will tell you how the hot cabbage. Right. There's rule of three. I will ask you, I'll tell you, and I'll make you. And that's the end of it. Other than that, I'm a happy guy. Yes.
That's great. I hope it helps.
Yes. Realize I'm getting.
What do you mean? Oh, he did that for me. I hasn't done it for me. So that's probably for me. It helps you
Oh
too.
no,
So.
yeah, definitely, because. One minute. Oh, okay. Sure. No worries. Just strange. Right. Area code call? Local numbers, but then when you answer them, it's somebody somewhere else using a local number.
Okay.
Oh, is it not your social security card and how it doesn't work anymore? Oh, no, mine was an important legal matter before action is taken. Apparently, my social security card doesn't work anymore.
Oh,
One went and talked to me about my knee brace that I applied for. I met my dad. I get a bunch of phone calls like that. Good.
yes, it's time.
Okay.
I told you.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is the Mayor's Agenda, City of Hannibal Official Council Agenda of Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, Council Chambers of City Hall. I would ask clerk to please call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Here.
Councilmember Franke,
Here.
Mayor Hark,
Here.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Here.
Welch,
Here.
Beach,
Here.
and McCoy.
Okay, there being a quorum, I'd call this meeting to order. Oh, Councilman Dobson, would you do the invocation, please?
Glorious God, you promised to open doors of blessing and abundance for your people. We ask that you work mightily in us today, come upon us and cause us to have a productive meeting, lead each one of us so that we can make fruitful contributions at this time. Enable us to think and strategize in ways that will achieve great results, purify our thoughts and motives so that each one of us will enter into this meeting desiring the good of others and the pleasure of your name. Amen.
Councilman Beach, would you
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, at this time, I've entertained a motion to excuse Councilman McCoy due to an illness.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now need a motion to approve the agenda as it is posted this Tuesday, September 7th.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now seeking a motion to approve the minutes of the special called council meeting of August 10, 2021, and a regularly scheduled council meeting of August 17, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. And finally, requesting a motion to approve payroll claims for the second half of August 2021.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion over payroll and claims? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. Council, at this time, I want to direct our attention to two new officers we'd like to swear in this evening with Hannibal Police Department. Just briefly, the first officer is Joshua Douglas. Would you stand, sir? Josh is originally from New York City, came to the area via football scholarship at Culver Stockton College. He graduated Culver Stockton majoring in criminal justice along with a minor in psychology. Josh was born in Costa Rica and his family moved to New York City when he was young. While at Culver Stockton, Josh realized he enjoyed the Midwest and decided to stay in the area. He applied with HPD and flew through the hiring process and was picked to join HPD as a cadet. He graduated from the Law Enforcement Training Institute on August 20th with nearly 700 hours of training. Josh has moved to Hannibal along with moving his sister here from New York City. First, we'd like to welcome Josh to Hannibal, Missouri. The next candidate, Joseph Habing. I want to get it right. Joe is a graduate of Quincy Senior High School and later served in the U.S. Army, where he spent time overseas. After U.S. Army, Joseph worked in corrections for several years along with construction jobs. Joe wanted to be a police officer from a young age, but was never able to take the time to send himself to the academy. Joe heard about our cadet program and was encouraged by his wife to apply. She's smiling. There we go. Joe also graduated from the Law Enforcement Training Institute on August 20th with nearly 700 hours of training. Joe currently lives in Minden, Illinois with his wife. Welcome. Always. Gentlemen, if you can, join me up here. Somewhat larger. Right. This time I'm going to administer the oath of office. Face there. Raising your right hand. I solemnly swear that I will protect, defend, and preserve the Constitution of the United States. Constitution. I will, to the best of my ability, the laws of the state of Missouri, and I will constantly promote and cooperate with all regularly constituted law enforcement officers, interested public, will obey all laws of my superiors, and to the best of my ability, perform all my duties. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. Going along speech about how admirable the profession is. I want to put myself in that. You guys have about 6 times laying out. See? By 7. Okay? Fantastic. And remember, okay. Thank you very much. Ain't you there? Thank you. Okay, council also under my name for recommendation of reappointments for a first reading for the Hannibal Convention and Visitors Bureau. Mary Bowman, reappointment for a term to expire September of 2026, and Roy Hark for a reappointment for a term to expire September of 2026. There's no roll call, it's just a first reading. You have time to think about that until the next council meeting. To the Policeman Fireman Retirement Board for a first reading, Pat Benson, reappointment for a term to expire December of 2024. Again, first reading, no vote this evening. Which brings us, next item on the agenda would be Jeff Veach, the Hannibal JCs, but I understand there's someone who will be in your stay.
Yeah, Mr. Brant Dooley is the chairman for the event. He's gonna
Good evening, sir. Good evening. So Saturday, September 11th, we're hosting a car show at our location down on Lion Street there. I'm asking for a street closure Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
That's all I need.
Right. What time's the show going to start, sir?
It starts at 8
8?
and it ends at 4.
Okay.
Application says 7.
7? You wanna go
7
ahead?
work better than 8?
7 work
7
better?
work better.
Okay. Let's go for 7, have time to set up and not be rushed around. That's great. All the staff is already in agreement in this, and everything is on file. There's nothing to stand in the way of this outside of just getting your all's approval.
I have one quick thing. The Loafers reunion cruise is right after that, so be sure to push those people over here at Central Park.
Oh, we will.
Or they can just hang.
Actually
so.
got people coming from Kansas City too, so hopefully I'll get some of them too.
Yep, I'm sure they'll be over that way too. So
Nice. Is there a motion to approve?
make a motion.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda is Carla Potts with the Northeast Community Action Corporation.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for letting me come talk tonight. I especially want to thank the mayor and Lisa for all that they've done to help us, and we really want to be a partner with the city of Hannibal, and we're really grateful to be a partner. We are really interested in building some houses on some of the lots that the city has acquired. I went out and looked at a number of the lots, and we're interested in 6 of the lots, 2 on Gordon, 1 on Griffin, 1 on Hope, and 2 on Spruce. I looked at some others, but I think these fit the needs the best. We will be submitting an application to the Missouri Housing Development Commission for home dollars, and those are HUD dollars, that will build these homes. Our architect and our general contractor will be up here next week, if the council is agreeable, to look at the lots and determine what size houses we can build. We have always built 3-bedroom homes with 2 bath, but the lots are different, and so we're going to have to look at what we can do on each lot to fit the lot. One of the important things about these homes is not just rental property. At the end of 15 years, the people in the home at the time of that 15-year compliance ends can purchase that home for 50% of the appraised value. That's a wonderful opportunity for someone to become a homeowner. Wonderful opportunity for these neighborhoods to get even better, to improve even more. The rent for these homes will be $450, which is more than reasonable, and that will include water, sewer, and trash. The income guidelines for the homes are 40 to 50% and 60% of area median income. So it's lower income, but working families meet those income guidelines. If you're working at one job or sometimes even two jobs, you can meet these guidelines. So we're excited. We have built these homes before in Montgomery City. We ended up building 22 of them in a subdivision. This will be our first time to build scattered sites, but I think the opportunities are really big in Hannibal to continue, if this works out, and this will work out if we're funded, to do more of these over time and take back some of these lots that are empty now and can have homes on them and bring back communities. So I'm going to stop there. We really would appreciate, if the council is agreeable to this, we'd appreciate support letters, of course, from the mayor, from Lisa, and any council member who would like to give a support letter. We will send a sample support letter out to each member of the council, and if you want to do that, that would be fine. I don't know if you can do that, but if you can, we would appreciate it.
Carla, if I may, can you speak just a little bit about, so the development, who will be the developer, who will be the owner, and who will be the manager of these?
Well, that's really easy. NECAC. NECAC will develop them, NECAC will own them, and NECAC will manage them. So that's a pretty good, easy question for me to answer. So it will all be our agency. And when a person gets closer to that time to be a homeowner, we have an extensive homeownership program. And so we'll be doing homeownership counseling and everything to get them ready for homeownership. We'll be doing budget counseling, everything, credit counseling, to get them to where they need to be able to buy that home. And we also package loans. We package the 502 direct loan for USDA. Doesn't have anything to do with this project, but could have something to do with this project down the road. The applications are due October 8th. So a short turnaround, but we're used to doing that. So anyway, any other questions?
I'll need you to state your name. You'll have to come up. Yeah. LaDonna Hampton. Okay, can you step up here? We can get you on. That way our minutes are correct. We can hear you.
I was just, my name's LaDonna Hampton. I was just wondering, so does the money that they make have to come from a job? Can it come from disability?
It can come from disability. It can come from disability. It can come from wages. There's no set thing of what the income has to come from. Okay. I will say that these homes will be accessible. They're all built to universal design, so if someone wants to age in place in a home, they can age in place in a home. They'll also be certified bronze by the National Association of Home Builders, so they'll be highly energy efficient. And of course, NECAC does weatherization, so we know a little bit about energy efficiency anyway, but these will be bronze certified by the National Association of Home Builders.
Have you canvassed the neighborhood to get opinions on whether or not this is something they want?
We have not canvassed the neighborhood. No, we have not. We have not.
I would think in the areas that you mentioned, it's, going to go in and it's going to help infill those older neighborhoods. And it's going to be nothing but a plus for that neighborhood. And hopefully with a new house built, that other owners will look at their own homes and bring theirs up to, what the new house looks like, make improvements.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of times when, we see something new come in, we always want to get a little bit spruced up. So Yes, I think it will be a boom to the neighborhood.
But just to confirm, you haven't asked the neighbors?
We have not.
Okay. Is the design architecturally going to match what's in the neighborhood already?
Yes, we try to do that anywhere we go. And that's why the architect will come up and look at each lot to determine what will fit best on that lot.
Yeah, so I don't exactly mean to fit to the lot. I mean to fit to the existing buildings in the neighborhood, stylistically.
Yes, to the best of our ability, yes.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have one thing. Do you have a timeline of how long these houses will take to be built, or when, people will be able to move in? I mean, a year, 2 years?
Well, the grant goes in October. We will know in December. Anything that has some government connection takes a little longer. Right. So we would hope to come to firm commitment by spring. And 6 homes, no longer than a year. They'll be able to bring them
They'll all be
up.
built at the same time then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And we will have a general contractor, but we will bid everything local.
That was my next question.
We will put all our bids out for local people. So if we're successful in getting this, and we hope we are, we'll be coming back and saying, give us names of contractors so we can get the plans to them for bidding. Anything else?
What other items do we need? We just need identification of said lots.
Well, we will need support letters and the identification of the lots, a letter showing that we agree to donate the lots and legal description of them, and that's pretty much it.
And I have the lots today, Mayor, if you would like the list of them.
Can one general letter of support work?
Yeah, I mean, yes, and then a general, the letter can be the same from, you don't have to rewrite the letter.
Right.
No, the letter is.
Same letter from each.
Yes, we would definitely need a letter from the mayor and from the city manager. If the council chose to do one letter together, that would be fine.
Okay. I make a motion to donate these 6 properties and write up a letter of support from the council.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor.
And city manager.
And city manager.
Okay. Motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
So we're not donating the properties until you get the grant.
Right.
That said, I'll make the call. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Councilmember Franke,
Nay.
Mayor Hark,
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
and Veach.
Yes.
Motion carried. We'll go ahead and
Thank
get
you.
the documents through the city manager to you.
Perfect. Thank you all
Thank you
so
very much.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda shows Rich Dilley with Hannibal School District number 60. Is there anyone here for the school?
Would you
Well,
like me to
being,
present on behalf of Hannibal School District and Hannibal High School for 2 upcoming parades, Mayor and Council?
If you feel comfortable.
I would feel comfortable with that if everyone else is, because this is an annual thing and it's also for the kids.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The first is the 2021 Homecoming Parade. It is the same parade route that has been used in the past. The event is September the 29th with the parade from 6 to about 6:45. They're going to line up at 5:15. And we have 8 officers at overtime for a total cost of $608. No objections and just approval, recommendation of approval. And we have the certificate of insurance and hold harmless on file. There are no questions.
Hopefully they're still undefeated at that time. from looking at the games, they may be. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now the second one.
All right. Second one, also a parade, and this is the Hannibal Band Day Parade. They do not have noted on here how many years, but usually when Miss Higby Roberts is in attendance, she usually tells us, and it's many years. Not quite as old as I am, but a lot of years. And they are requesting to have their annual Band Day Parade. I think they start it when you're in high school, maybe, on October the 12th, with a rain date of October the 19th, requesting the parade route be normal. And this has been vetted through all departments. There will have a need for 12 officers overtime for a total cost of $1,140. We do have the hold harmless and certificate of insurance on file, and recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
And motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. You can have both your parades now.
Thank you. I will contact Rich and let him know.
Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is LaDonna Hampton. I can put a face to the name. Welcome.
LaDonna Hampton. So I came a few weeks ago. Did you want me to say something else?
No.
Or just that? Okay. I came up, well, it's been about a month, I guess, now. And they asked me to come back, I guess, to share what I found. So I did call the Ethics Commission of Missouri. And she gave me the 115.646 about the public funds and stuff. And it says effective August 28th, 2021. And she would not interpret it, she said, because she did not want to. And I did call Louis Riggs, and he wasn't interested in speaking at all, or contributing. He just sent me back to you guys and stuff. But as I look at this, I'm looking at it, and it, to me, it says that we shouldn't, it says this section shall not be construed to prohibit any public official of a political subdivision, including school districts and charter schools, from making public appearances or from issuing press releases concerning any such ballot measure. Any purposeful violation of this section shall be punished as a class 4 election offense. When I hear that, from the end of that, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing that it doesn't prohibit money for the advertising of it. It does prohibit it if I'm trying to push an agenda or two. That's.
I do not disagree with you that that is an appropriate interpretation of the law. Unfortunately, that's not how the Ethics Commission interprets it. The way they interpret it is if you spend any public money, and that includes, for instance, when we got sued by the Ethics Commission, it was because the city manager had spent time preparing a brochure explaining, not this city manager, a former city manager had spent time preparing a brochure, and they said because he was on city payroll, that was an inappropriate expenditure of funds.
Well, how can we change that? Because first of all, when I did call them, they weren't, she's going, oh, I can't interpret, oh, I can't do that. And I'm like, well, isn't that what you are?
That's always their answer until someone files a complaint, and then their interpretation.
Well, why can't we file a lawsuit against them?
Well,
I'm sorry, but I feel like we should, because this is
James, can I ask
this is
a
our
clarifying
city.
Question? Sure. Is mailing a sample ballot distinctively different than creating a brochure that can be interpreted
Exactly.
a certain way?
We just want date, time that they're going to have election.
Perhaps. It depends upon, Councilman, it depends upon what's in there. Look, there's no question that you can send out informational material. Problem gets that the Ethics Commission looks for things which they can construe as attempting to influence the vote. And they go very far afield of what the case law says they should. And what happens is they prosecute you at the administrative level with their in-house members, and you are going to lose 99% of the times. And that leaves you with the answer of you are going to have to appeal it and take it up. And this happened with the city of Hannibal previously. They offered the city manager, we'll give you a suspended imposition of sentence if you don't take this any further and you don't appeal it. And he didn't want the black mark on his record, and I don't blame him for not wanting to take the chance, et cetera, et cetera. However, I'm telling you, I wasn't consulted before he did it, but I looked at it and I looked at the case law, and in my legal opinion, they were dead wrong, and it was absolutely a hatchet job. And I'm sorry to be so blunt, but that's my answer. And the problem is that even if you simply mail out sample ballots, you run the risk that they may say, oh, well, that was an attempt to influence you. In your explanation, you said, this is a sample ballot, which is regarding this match. See, that you were trying to convince people to vote your way.
So Ms. Hampton can find an example of another political subdivision in the state of Missouri mailing out sample ballots without any sort of issues with the Missouri Ethics Commission. Would that satisfy you?
It's not going to satisfy me because I don't trust the Ethics Commission.
Why can't we just sue them?
Well, you can only sue if you've got an ongoing thing. I mean, here's the thing.
Or appeal them, or whatever you have to do.
We could have appealed the prior decision. The city manager did not want to because they didn't go after the city personally. They went after the city manager personally, and he didn't want that black record, that black mark on his record. And as I say, I don't blame him for being that way. However, I can also tell you that he attempted to be very, very cautious and make sure that the brochure that he prepared was informational only. And because he after the complaint was filed, he went through it with me and showed me exactly what he did. And in my legal opinion, he had neither A, the intent, nor B, the actual cause of action that they claimed he did. And yet they went ahead and they prosecuted him.
What can we do to change that? It's got to change because it's not right.
When I smiled regarding legislators are the only people that can change that. Because what you need to understand
now, is Lewis Riggs a legislature?
Yes. What you need to understand is state law says one thing, but it also authorizes the Ethics Commission and other administrative agencies to promulgate such rules and regulations as they deem appropriate. And that's the problem, that this is pursuant to a rule or a regulation. And the only people that can adjust those, because they give them wide powers to enact appropriate rules and regulations. So the only people who can change that are either A, the legislature, or B, as you identified, you could do it through a court proceeding. But the problem is legislature is much more the appropriate way to do it. So if
they won't?
Well, that has to do with if you want your legislators to do something.
We went back and forth, believe me, in emails.
You have to lobby your legislators, and if they won't do it, then I suppose the answer would be you need to elect a legislator that will do the things that you want them to do and that does agree with your political beliefs, or run.
I just felt like he didn't have time for us little people, is what I got from it.
Well, I can tell you, I sat through the proceeding over there that James is referencing with the previous city manager, and it was a proceeding on their turf, on their terms, and they allowed one person in at a time. And when it was said and done, we didn't get a second chance to rebuttal or have any rebuttal with them. And their mind was made up when we got there.
I have a question for you.
It was the hearing was worthless.
It's a star chamber.
Yeah.
So
it was sad. Whereas the city manager, my gosh, nobody in the world's perfect, but he had no ill intent, and he was trying so desperately to get the information out. He thought he was doing a great thing, and boy, they slammed him, and actually he paid a fine out of his own pocket personally because they went after him personally. I'll be honest, after that, if I were him, I would have never picked up another piece of literature in my life. It was, you called it a hatchet job, that's what it was. So to answer your question from my perspective, I would continue to harass is a strong word. Be in my legislature's ear until they got tired of me. And sadly enough, that's the squeaky wheel type thing. Yeah, that's the only thing that seems to work. And I hope it isn't that way with city government, but if that's what it takes sometimes, then by all means. But I would not take this no for an answer.
Yeah. So I have no idea what it takes to actually, like cost-wise, to send out a letter. But if a private citizen formed 4 or 5 people in a group and they did this on their own, that would be perfectly fine, correct?
Absolutely. Private people can do whatever they want. The issue is the violation, or the alleged violation is that if you're spending public funds to
But the taxpayer pays that, and so it should come from taxpayer money, and that's the point of the whole thing.
It should not fall on the citizen to do that.
We're already, why should we continue to have to pay all this extra just because they don't want to put out information that needs to be out there? We're not persuading anybody to do anything. We're just saying, hey, there's an election coming up, and this is going to be on the ballot, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that should be paid by taxpayer money.
So why does the Secretary of State's office list it as acceptable to send out sample ballots? It's on the...
Look, I'm not saying it's inappropriate to send sample ballots. I'm saying that what the former city manager prepared was a very simple statement of what the ballot issue was about and what was involved.
But I want to talk specifically about sample ballots.
Well, but I'm getting to that. Here's the thing. I'm not telling you can't do a sample ballot. I am saying that you run the risk that the Ethics Commission will say that by your actions there, by sending it out, was an attempt. I absolutely guarantee you've got the defense of saying, but the Secretary of State says that we can do this. But I will tell you, there are multiple cases that, in my opinion, said what the city manager did in that other problem was absolutely valid, and they didn't want to hear it. They didn't care what the law was. They had made their decision up. The only way that we could have done something was if we had appealed it. I think the court would have found differently. I certainly hope so, because I did quite a bit of research and looked at the case law and saw it. So I'm not saying you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. I'm saying if you do it, recognize that there is an opening of the door and there's a risk, and you have to analyze that risk and decide, is it worth it, and are you willing to try to do it? Because the big problem is, because Hannibal has been found guilty of doing this once, there is a presumption of the law that if you do it again, that you are automatically guilty because of that. So there's a problem, and it has to give concern to the city, it has to give concern to staff. Now, if the council were to vote as a whole, we are going to do this and blah, 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 it would take burden off of city staff. City staff wouldn't have to be worried about they violated the law. I'm not telling you that the Ethics Commission might not still go after you. I'm saying if the council were to vote to take that specific action and were to vote to approve particular ballot language, et cetera, I think that's a different situation.
Thank you. And not telling us what to do, but giving us the right risk profile.
I hope. That's what I'm trying to say.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Also, since I'm up here, when y'all do infrastructure thing, it seems like there's not a lot of kid things to do. And I work for Preferred, and I teach social skills for children, about 5 to 18. And it'd be nice if we had those water things that shoot up for the kids to run through and stuff. I know they do a lot of other stuff, but it would kind of be nice to have some of those in some of the parks. Just to suggestion.
No, that's fine. No problem. All right, thank you. All right, James Lemon, City Attorney. Looks like you have a few items.
I think it's all one, really.
It looks like
it just
it's
apparently got very wordy when I was explaining what was going on.
I
Mayor,
added the entire section of the code, so it would capture all the sections.
yeah, Mayor, it boils down to this. There was some question as to what the city's authority is in regard to dangerous trees on private property. There was an argument that we were authorized to deal with those trees, but then the language was a little hazy. So after talking to the city manager and Andy, we took a look at things, and all I've done is to clarify what was there, primarily by creating a new subsection that sets out some stuff that was a little bit contradictory in some of the other sections, and a bill to follow.
So what's the rundown? I want to know.
Well, basically, it's clarifying the fact that if a tree is dangerous, the obligation is on the homeowner to clean it up, put them on notice. However, in situations where we're concerned that there's a danger to the public, it would authorize the city to take action and also to ask the homeowner to pay for it after. So, I mean, that's the clarification that we had. There was some question of if it wasn't directly hanging over a street, did that qualify under the ordinance? This is just clarifying the fact that if it's a danger to the public, yes, that is something. And in my legal opinion, that falls under the normal police powers of the city. So that's why we clarified that issue.
Glad we did it. Thank you.
I have one thing. Is this going to start some sort of mandate throughout the town, or is this just going to be a housekeeping sort of update, I guess? Are we going to go around and start claiming people's trees, or are we just going to, when it comes up, we'll have more power to do so?
I would say it would be complaint-based.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, we don't have the time to go out and look for
Okay, I just
trees. Now,
double
we
check.
do need to have the ability to do something, and
When
the first
emergency
onus
exists.
will be on the homeowner.
Okay.
And not to speak for city staff, but I would also imagine it'd be very useful in emergency situations.
Right.
Okay, that'll be Bill 21-027 to follow. Andy Dorian, Director of Central Services.
Andy has a
You just
few
have
things.
one item, right?
I have several items tonight. Edie couldn't be here, so I am taking some of her items. First up, we have a final plat approval for the Willings subdivision. This went through planning and zoning. It was approved by them, by the engineer, by all the utility for 4 single-family dwellings off Stardust.
Bill 21-028 to follow. Any questions on that at this time?
And that's with new updated subdivision code and such, correct? That they've agreed to. Wonderful.
Okay.
Not 100 emails.
Wow. Andy, next item, the Huckleberry Park Pond.
Okay, this is an item that we've been working on for several years now. It's the Community Assistance Program Agreement with the Department of Conservation. It's a 25-year agreement. That's kind of a loose thing. You can get out of it whenever you want. But from our point of view, we don't see any reason why we'd want to get out of it. The big thing for us is that they'll do 50% of the trout stocking for us in winter. They also supply us their fishery biologists to monitor the fish stock in the pond, help us with any algae growth, all the different things. We now have access to their whole fishery biologist team. In regards to, I know some people are hesitant to enter these types of agreements, but this is already a land water conservation funded park and pond. So we have to do these things anyways in perpetuity. So the conditions they put on are things that we have to do anyways. So this is a no cost agreement, and this went through Park Board and was recommended by them as well. So I can answer any questions.
How many trout?
It is per per pound is the way they do it. I think it was the last they did it was several hundred. And they do a couple different kind, actually put some golden trout in there, which I'd never heard of. But they'll monitor that, and then they'll also monitor the through their different ways of, do we add more bass, do we add more bluegill, those types of things every year. If they have funding, they might actually help us with that. So,
And on a side note to this weekend, I saw one of our senior living care facilities had taken a couple of vans of seniors out, and they were utilizing the docks. Some of those seniors had mobility issues, and they were all getting to sit there and fish off the dock. I want to thank you again for making sure that happened.
Yeah, it's been great. We've had some, we've actually made some magazines because of that, and had some kids who they come here just because of that. So that's been great.
All right. The next item.
The rest are property purchases. Lori Rogers, which is the purchase 253 Division, a vacant lot at Arch and Elm, and a vacant lot at Arch and Crescent. She owns a home at 215 Summit. She has purchased properties in the past and has done a really good job of keeping them up. And so these would be all sold for $500 plus cost each.
Okay. So resolutions to follow. Your next item.
The next is Jamie Whitley, wishes to purchase 320 through 22 South 11th, 1010 12 Collier. He'd actually like to locate his business, O'Brien Sewer, here and build a building. He has spoken with the building inspector, so this would be $500 plus cost.
And no issues, zoning or anything like that we're going to have to deal with later. Okay. There'll be a resolution to follow. Next item.
The last is Frank Ellis. He wishes to purchase 323 South Arch. He owns a neighboring lot at 321 South Arch. This is something we see often. He's been maintaining this lot for many, many years, and then found out that it was available, and would just like to add it to his property. So $500 plus cost.
That's a resolution to follow as well. Any questions on it?
I will add, over the last 2 years, we're with these and a couple more, we'll be up at 30 lots sold. So that list is dwindling.
Very good.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Andy, thank you. Okay, council, we have resolution 2365-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution, call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Motion to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Resolution number 2365-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a community assistance program agreement between the City of Hannibal and the Missouri Department of Conservation for the maintenance and management of the Huckleberry Pond. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Hark.
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
And Veach.
Yes.
Declare resolution 2365-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have resolution 2366-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution, call the roll for adoption.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2366-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for the transfer of real estate and special warranty deed for the sale of city-owned property known as 253 Division to Lori Rogers in the amount of $500 plus fees. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Hark.
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
And Veach.
Yes.
Declare resolution 2366-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have resolution 2367-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution, call the roll for adoption.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2367-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for transfer of real estate and special warranty deed for the sale of city-owned property, a vacant lot at Arch and Elm Street to Lori Rogers in the amount of $500 plus fees. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Hark.
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
And Veach.
Yes.
Declare Resolution 2367-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have Resolution 2368-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution, call the roll for adoption.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2368-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for transfer of real estate and special warranty deed for the sale of city-owned property, a vacant lot at Arch and Crescent Streets, to Lori Rogers in the amount of $500 plus fees. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Hark.
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
And Beach.
Yes.
I declare Resolution 2368-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have Resolution 2369-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2369-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for transfer of real estate and special warranty deed for the sale of city-owned property known as 320 through 22 South 11/1010 through 12 Collier Streets to Jamie Whitley in the amount of $500 plus fees. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Hark.
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
And Beach.
Yes.
Declare Resolution 2369-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have Resolution number 2370-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2370-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for the transfer of real estate and special warranty deed for the sale of city-owned property known as 323 South Arch Street to Frank Ellis in the amount of $500 plus fees. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Hark.
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
And Beach.
I declare Resolution 2370-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have before us Bill number 21-027. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Bill number 21-027, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal revoking and replacing Chapter 28, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places, Article 6, Tree Regulations, Division 3, Planting, Maintenance, and Removal of Trees, Section 28-295, Tree Maintenance of the revised ordinances of the City of Hannibal regarding tree maintenance. First reading.
Council, we now have Bill number 21-028. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Bill number 21-028, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal approving and accepting the final plat of the Willing subdivision, a subdivision being part of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter of Section 24, Township 57 North, Range 5 west of the 5th Principal Meridian, Marion County, Missouri. First reading.
Okay. Council, at this time, I'd request go into closed session in accordance with RSMO 610-021, subparagraph 1 and paragraph 3, admitting myself, council, city manager, city attorney, city clerk, Andy, Corey, Darren. You're already in. Was there a motion?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Franke.
Yes.
Mayor Hark.
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen.
Yes.
Welch.
Yes.
And Beach.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, everyone, for attending this evening.